I had the challenge of building out these ideas into a system, I guess, that computers can make this happen. But a lot of it is based on a topic of computer science, which is called natural language processing, or NLP, which basically is how computers can process human language and basically understand how we talk and the language we use between ourselves. And of course, this technology has been really accelerated by the work of companies like Google, and particularly like voice assistants. So in the last few years, there's been a lot of machine learning work on trying to make better algorithms to understand how we talk and the words we use. So really, for me, I started off looking at these sort of algorithms and then trying to fit in what we wanted to do. So at the core, you have the user's description of the topic, which basically is just a sentence. We also then have the articles that we have pulled, and it's just basically scraping all the text from these websites. And we basically use the user's description as a kind of a filter, which basically pulls out the sentences from the websites which are most related to the user's description. So it's a way for us to pull out the most relevant points from the text to what we're trying to search for. And at this point, we have a lot of sentences. These sentences are then broken down into words. So the algorithm can understand what human grammar is, so it can pull out nouns, verbs, adjectives, things like that. So basically, in the end, we end up with a big bag, like a Scrabble bag full of words that we can use down the line. There's also this thing which is called GPT-2, which is a huge language model that's been trained on a lot of internet data about how we talk to each other online. So it gives us an interesting twist. So we also use the user description to use this algorithm to continue the sentence. So it will kind of respond to your description of the topic. And then this also gives us an extra bag of words, which kind of gives us the internet perspective and also the deliberate articles that you have chosen. So from this big bag of words, we basically, to generate the questions, it's quite simple. It's an ad lib, which means that it's a sentence that has what if a, and then it has these kind of templates. So an adjective, a singular noun. We basically pull out the words from the bag and then fill in these categories randomly. So actually what we do is we generate, thousands of these questions. And then we go back and look at which of these questions is most related to our description of the topic. So we kind of filter our randomly generated questions and get a top 50 of what the machine thinks are most relevant to the problem. And then these questions are delivered to the app, and these are the ones that you're looking through as your deck. And of course, then the human input is there. We get to play around with them and decide what is interesting, and kind of play around with the words. So every time you tap on a word, you're also, for example, if it's a verb, it'll pull out the rest of the verbs from the bag of words to kind of for you to explore the bag by going through the categories. So every word that you've tapped on in the question is also from this bag, and it's basically allowing you to explore all of the words that we pulled. The process of saving a card then is basically to generate the inside card, we basically give these two questions. So they're done in pairs. When two cards have been saved, we take these cards and we basically ask the GPT-2 model to answer these questions, which I personally think is the most interesting thing, because you're basically asking the machine its opinion on your saved questions, and the answers that it gives are often another question, or sometimes they can also answer the card. But for me, that's really interesting to see the sort of things that it contributes.